But I think I really learned my golf DNA. That's the simplest thing, is probably just knowing what makes me, Dylan Wu, play his best golf, not trying to be somebody else. Like if you had to make a great player, like you're taking Rory McIlroy's driving and you have Tiger's ball striking, but like just really for me, just realizing like what am I good at and like how I can play good golf. And that's kind of how I attacked every golf course. It might not fit my eye, but there's certain ways I can attack it in a way that's going to make me play my best golf. Say everybody's hitting driver on this hole just because it's a little longer and the hole curves right to left. I like to cut the ball. I'm going to hit 3-wood here and it's still going to go in the fairway. So basically like doing those small things that take more confidence to do versus just doing what everybody else is doing.
Hi, this is John Thogson from Waukee, Iowa, and I play at Lake Panorama National Golf Course. This is Golf Smarter number 924.
PGA Tour pro Dylan Wu on his journey to reach the highest level of golf competition.
This is Golf Smarter, sharing stories, tips, and insights from great golf minds to help you lower your score and raise your golf IQ. Here's your host, Fred Green.
Welcome to the Golf Smarter podcast, Dylan.
Hello, Fred. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for having your people reach out to me. I'm always fascinated. I generally don't talk to PGA Tour players or professional golfers, mostly golf instructors. I do love talking to their caddies, so we can talk about that too. Because, you know, you guys have been burned by the media, and so you don't necessarily want to answer a lot of things. So that's why I'm like, yeah, we don't want to bug you. Don't want to bug you. But I've got you. So, yeah. So let's talk about your journey to professional golf and what level you're at. So let's start from the beginning there.
Yeah, so I grew up in Medford, Oregon, so a town 25 miles from the border of California, about 80,000 people. So I'm the oldest of four. I have two brothers that are 16 months younger than me, twin brothers, and then I have a younger sister who's 4.5 years younger than me. But I'm the oldest. People ask me, like, how did I get into the game? My dad, when I was born, just started learning the game. So I actually have pictures of myself on the putting green when I was honestly probably 1 or 2 with him. Just I don't remember it, but 1 or 2 on the putting green. The only memory, like the earliest memory I have is maybe I was like 4 or 5 carrying a bag of Snoopy clubs to the range with my dad. But yeah, no. All 4 of us play golf with my dad. My mom doesn't play golf. We tried teaching her golf, but no, the cool thing is all our family plays golf. I played golf at Northwestern. My twin brothers played golf at Valparaiso and Air Force. And then my younger sister just graduated this past spring from Lipscomb University. So all of us played Division I golf.
Wow.
Really cool.
Your dad must be beaming.
Yeah, no, I like to say that I set the tone with being the first one. So, but no.
Yeah, but no rebellion. Come on, you got 3 younger siblings, and they're like, "I don't want to do that." He's doing it.
Exactly. So no, it was very good. Really nice. Like when we get back home for the holidays or just to spend time together, we get to play golf together. So no, it's really, really fun to play golf with my dad and play golf with my brothers. One of my brothers, twin brothers, Jeremy, he caddies for me now. He's been doing it for 2.5 years, but we grew up in Southern Oregon, played ice hockey and golf actually for pretty early. So probably I'd say we started playing golf seriously at like the age of 5 and ice hockey at the same time. So my brothers and I played ice hockey really competitively. I wouldn't say as high as golf, but pretty close. Like I think I love golf more just deep down. But love playing ice hockey in the wintertime. It was a great escape from golf. In Oregon, you can play kind of all year round, but it gets kind of cold in the winter and it might snow. So hockey was a great escape from golf, and you can use your anger in a good way in hockey versus golf. It backfires quickly when you get mad. But it was a great combination. And then, I just started playing junior golf, and I loved golf growing up. I mean, I just wanted to be at the club every day. My brothers and I would literally my parents are dentists. They would just drop us off and just like leave us there all day. Would be, for us, it'd be awesome, but probably running chaos around all the members and stuff like that. But just a small club in Southern Oregon where you grew up at Rogue Valley Country Club in Medford. And it's home, and that's where I grew up, and that's kind of where everything started, and just slowly started getting better. And just older and older, I started playing Oregon junior golf, getting really good. I was the best player in the state for my age. Then I started graduating into playing in some bigger tournaments across the country on the West Coast in California. Then I started getting better at that. And then high school came, and this is when I got serious. I'm like, okay, I think I'm good enough to play not only college golf, but I would love to have the dream of playing professional golf. But let's try to get a college offer first. But yeah, in high school, I just kept on getting better. Played in a lot of AJGA tournaments. I was fortunate enough. My parents were able to. My parents are both dentists, like I said, support all four of us and give us opportunities. And I remember flying across the country and playing a lot of tournaments on my own, honestly, just traveling on my own, staying with host families. So I was pretty independent at a pretty young age. So
how young?
I remember the first time flying across the country. The first time was actually when I was 10 or 11 to see my grandma who lives in Tampa. And I went for like 3 weeks, I went to like the IMG Academy in Bradenton when I was like 10. But then more consistently when I was like 14 or 15, 13 or 14, just flying, staying at host families, playing in national AJJ tournaments, and then just getting better. And I just became a better golfer. Got instruction from my dad growing up and the head pro at the course I grew up at. And I was kind of a golfer that was hit the ball straight, not necessarily far, but hit the ball straight, hit a lot of greens, and just played really smart, simple golf. And that's kind of what I do nowadays. But it was, I just kept on getting better. And then I decided I was pretty good, got to maybe top 10 in my class at one point. So I knew I was good enough to play college golf. And I already had kind of dead set on going to a handful of schools because I really wanted to go to a good academic school and a good golf school at the same time, just because, I mean, everybody wants to be a professional athlete, but really, really hard. So let's have a backup plan. So
smart.
Took visits. I thought I was going to be on the West Coast. Being from Oregon, thought I'd be on the West Coast, probably California, but took visits to Washington, Stanford, Cal, Pepperdine, talked to USC, UCLA. Then I was moving a little bit out east, looked at Michigan, talked to Northwestern, and then a little bit of Duke in North Carolina, and then took a visit to Northwestern in the middle of January.
That'll sell it.
Yeah, never been. I mean, Oregon,
just outside of Chicago, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's based just north of Chicago. Never been. Doesn't snow that much in Oregon, but it was cold. No. It was cold. So
yeah, winds get blowing, and not conducive to golf or pleasure.
No. I don't miss the Chicago winters. I'll say that. But had my best visit there at Northwestern. Middle of January, best visit. My coach was the biggest reason I went to Northwestern. Pat Goss. He's been there for almost 30 years. He's still my coach now on all of my game. So the one thing that really separated my visit there at Northwestern is that I told myself I could go to all these good schools that I listed before, like get a great degree, I could do something successful. But if I really want to become a professional golfer and get to the next level, I want to be at a place where I can develop as a player. And literally on my visit, Pat told me he'd base his success as a coach on how I developed. And that kind of spoke to me because not a lot of college coaches have experience in professional golf. Most of the time college coaches are kind of like your parents away from home and like your team managers. They kind of just organize everything, not necessarily high instructors that have coached professional golfers or PGA Tour players. Like Luke Donald went to Northwestern. Pat basically, ever since Luke went to Northwestern, took Luke to number one in the world. I'm like, if this guy can take him to number one in the world, he can probably do something with me. So, so honestly, my 4 years at Northwestern were great. I mean, Pat is instrumental to my success. But yeah, just kind of, I've always in my career, just kind of got slowly better. So yeah, played 4 years at Northwestern. Freshman, sophomore year was good. But junior year is kind of the biggest year there. That's when I was a second team All-American, finished ranked like 12th in the country. That's when I'm a big believer in like having your results speak for themselves. You need to have your results validate like your goals and your dreams. So like that's when I realized like, hey, I'm gonna actually try playing professional golf. But I also wanted to work hard in school and do well in school just to make sure that I had something to fall back on. So I was an economics major at Northwestern, did well in school. I always thought if I did well in school, it was easier for me to focus on the golf. I did 2 internships in college and just try to kind of get a full business degree and make sure I established a lot of connections and just had a backup plan in case golf didn't work out. And luckily it's been going well. So luckily I'd rather be playing golf for a living, but but yeah, my junior year was a big year, and then I turned
What
pro.
was it? What was it about the junior year that kind of helped you decide, like, yeah, this is going to work. I'm going to be able to do
Yeah,
this.
I just think I just slowly got better, but I think I really learned my golf DNA. I thought it was the simplest thing is probably just knowing what makes me a good golfer, like what makes Dylan Wu play his best golf, like not trying to be somebody else. Not, I mean, everybody like looks like if you had to make a great player, like you're taking like Rory McIlroy's driving and you have Tiger's ball striking, but like just really for me, just realizing like what am I good at and like how I can play good golf, and that kind of how I attacked every golf course. And there might not be golf courses that are super, I mean, might not fit my eye, but there's certain ways I can attack it in a way that's going to make me play my best golf. It's like the small stuff, like say everybody's hitting driver on this hole just because it's a little longer and the hole curves right to left. And I'm like, well, I like to cut the ball. I'm going to hit 3-wood here, and it's still going to go in the fairway. And so basically like doing those small things that take more confidence to do. Like you're more confident in your ability and like what you're thinking and your decision making versus just doing what everybody else is doing.
You know what we call that, right? Golf Smarter.
Pressure. Oh yeah, Golf Smarter.
Golf Smarter. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah. So that's basically kind of the nutshell. And then I just kept on getting better and getting more comfortable. I honestly think my game was just getting better, and I was putting myself in good positions. Like I won only one time my junior year, but the biggest stat, I think we played 12 times that year, 13 times. I had 2 finishes outside the top 10, and they were 12th both times, and they're in our 2 strongest events. So like just the amount of consistency that I had that year was a big indicator for me. Like I've always been a big believer in like consistency. Like of course golf is like play well when you're hot. Like consistency doesn't really do well. Like you can finish 30th every week and it's not the same. You could finish 4th one time and miss the next 7 cuts and it's way better. But yeah, that's kind of, I feel like I just overall just became I kind of really knew what kind of golfer I wanted to be and what I was. And honestly with golf, it's like everybody wants to swing it a certain way and want to get better. But like, honestly, the same things that make you good now are probably the same things that made you good when you're a junior golfer. So you're just trying to slowly get a little better every single day, every single year. Wow. And that was basically my goal.
So let me do this. Let's take a break right here. And then when we come back, we'll advance from graduating college and going pro.
Yep.
All right. And we'll do that right after this.
Sounds good.
So as a junior, things started to click. Junior at Northwestern, things started to click for you. And then you've got, it's not like football or basketball where you're like, okay, I'm going pro right now. And you were really focused on getting your degree and having that backup plan in order. So what happened your senior year, and then how did you make the decision to go pro?
Yeah. Senior year started off really well, pretty well in the fall. I won an event. Senior spring, though, wasn't as well as I planned. I think sometimes with senior spring, sometimes you're looking already towards professional golf.
Senioritis, man.
You're putting pressure on yourself to perform, and honestly, just wasn't performing as well. So, but I still kind of performed when I needed to. So before this, like when I was graduating, there was no PGA Tour university like there is now. So like now with all the changes to the PGA Tour, if you're a really good junior and senior, once you graduate, you get status on the PGA Tour Latino America or PGA Tour Canada. Or even if you're in the top 5, you get Korn Ferry status. So they didn't have this until the last like 2-3 years. So when I was in college, if you wanted to turn pro afterwards, you either needed to be really, really good to get like the top 5 guys in college to get like exemptions in the PGA Tour events or exemptions in the Korn Ferry events even. I would say like if I finished my senior year, I probably would have been ranked maybe anywhere between like 12 to 15-ish. If I include my junior and senior year of the guys that graduated, maybe a little higher than that, but I think roughly around 12 to 15, but not good enough to get exemptions. So I did Q school for PGA Tour Canada when I was still in college, my senior year. So I played the Big Ten Championship in Baltimore. My senior year, I finished 3rd. Then I flew all the way to Vancouver Island, British Columbia, the next day to do Q school for Canada. And then you needed to finish in the top 12 in ties to get guaranteed starts, and I finished 10th. So I got guaranteed starts. So after I played the national championship, I was going to go straight to Canada and play in my first tour event. Play in my first professional event. And the funny thing is that Northwestern's on the quarter system. So I played the national championship, then go play my first pro event at the end of May. And I don't graduate till the third week of June. So I actually play three events in Canada. Then I skip an event to go to my graduation in June.
Wow. I have a similar, crazily, I have a similar story, is that I always wanted to be a disc jockey when I was in college.
Yeah.
And on graduation day of college, I was on the air as a DJ in San Francisco, and I was going to school in San Francisco. So it was like, did it. Yeah. I'm curious, when you talked about how you just didn't perform as well when you got to your senior year, does that mean you weren't scoring as well, or you weren't placing as well? How does that play out? What
a little bit of both. I mean, of course, it's definitely more performance result, but I think I just wasn't finishing as well. Not
against competition.
Yeah, in competition for sure. Like, I honestly think I just part of my game, my ball striking kind of went a little down. I don't think I was hitting it as straight and just kind of missing it. And then I think, of course, mentally you just get frustrated because you just came off such a good year and you have high expectations. So if you're not meeting those expectations, you're pretty hard on yourself. And I'd say I'm pretty hard on myself. So I think it was just, I wouldn't say it's a wake up call, but I think it was just me just having to go through that, just a tough time. Everybody goes through it, but you just gotta grind through it. But like, even through that senior spring when I wasn't playing as well, the Big Ten championship, finished third, and then to get through Q school and get guaranteed starts right like during that stretch, even when I wasn't playing, it's just like, just at the end of the day, you just got to get it done somehow. Like, it doesn't have to look pretty, but you just got to get it done. So like, honestly, looking back, like if I didn't finish in the top 10 that week at Q school, I'd have to wait till Corn Ferry Q school and wait a couple times. I don't know what would happen because honestly, that first summer when I played those 12 events on the McKinsey Tour, the PGA Tour Canada, I really learned how to be a professional golfer. Those 12 tournaments. Like, coming from college golf, your coach tells you to basically show up, do this, like go to workouts, do well in school. Here's practice. Come be here. Like, flights are taken care of. Like, hotel. Like, you're just getting told what to do, right? They're setting up practice and everything like that. But like professional golf, it's all on your own. So you're learning how to travel, pay for your own travel. You're learning how to like take accountability and like plan your practice and like how you're going to prep at a tournament without coaches telling you what to do. So you're just on your own. So you really learn how to.
So there really is a huge difference, a huge jump. I mean, I know of other college sports, there's a huge jump going into the pros, but you even witnessed for yourself a huge change, and it was mostly because it was all on you now.
All on right? you. Yeah. And until you get to like the PGA Tour now, like, I mean, people have like, maybe you have a coach, swing coach, but you don't have necessarily a team around you. Like the best players now, like now I have a sports psychologist, a trainer, my coach, like I have everything. But like at the time you're just like, all right, I need to, let's go try to make some money and try to make a living a little bit. Now, so I remember like I remember missing the cut in my first event as a pro, but the second event I finished T4th in Canada. I made like 8,800 Canadian. I remember like after the currency exchange and the tax taking out, when I got the deposit, it was like 5,200 or something like that. And I was like, wow, I have so much money right now coming from college. It's nothing. But I'm like, now I think about it now, I'm like, damn, I was, but that's just.
I'm curious. Did you call your dad? It's like, okay, I've won money now.
Yeah, I've won money now. I mean, honestly,
his response was like, really, $5,000?
Yeah, $5,000. Yeah, you did all that for $5,000. It's like worse when you get paid in Canadian because it's 75%. So, no, I just really learned how to be a professional up there. So, like, honestly, you can't really look at making that much money if you play on the PGA Tour Canada. You're just trying to help play well to get to like next level. So, I played fine up there. I don't know. There's like the top 60 guys keep their status on there. I finished like 40th. But if you play really well, you get to skip stages at Q school. But I didn't play well enough to skip some stages. So I skipped one stage. So I had to start at first stage of Q school in September of 2018. So from June to May to September, I was playing in Canada, played decent, but really learned how to be a professional golfer and learn what it's like. And that was instrumental for sure, just to like at least have that under my belt. Because if that didn't happen, I'm basically like, I may basically be graduating and then maybe playing some mini tour events which is basically organized gambling and then going to Q school. But having professional tournament experience was great. And then I went to Q school, made it all the way to the final stage of Q school, Q school is probably the worst thing in golf. Like I hope in my career I never have to do Q school again because it's literally
I hope you don't either.
It's literally the worst thing in golf. Like if people,
why?
It's just because it's just like make it or break. Like with golf, it's already like all on your own. But like if Q school, so there's like 4 different stages. You have pre-qualifying, which is like pre-qualifying doesn't really matter because if you're at all a good golfer or a decent golfer, usually you are exempt to skip that. It's usually just weaving out the people who are club pros that think they're good enough to play professional golf. You know, like somebody goes up to you like, dude, you shot like 70 at your home course today. Like you should try to play professional golf. It's like, yeah, anybody can shoot 70 at their home course. You're playing the same course every single day, the same tees, you know, these greens already, and you're super comfortable versus if you go play in a tournament. Like that's why when you see a scratch golfer go play, say in any tournament, they're going to be way worse. It's just like tournament play is just so much different than just playing at the club with your buddies. It's just way different. I mean, it's not as fun, but just making a putt, like honestly, like making a 4 or 5 footer that means something for money and like means something is way harder than you raking it in your money game on Saturday, you know, with the boys. So, Q school is just tough because if you have to advance to the final stage to get status. And if you don't get to this final stage, you basically have to wait another year. It's a year of your life waiting to, I mean, if you don't make it, you can play mini tour events, state opens and like make ends meet and stuff like that. But you're not really furthering your golf career unless you get through the final stage of Q school.
Let me ask you a question. If you didn't make it through that and you had to wait the year, are you the kind of guy that would like, okay, I'm just going to work harder and stronger and do everything possible over the next year to get me there? Or are you the kind of person that would go, okay, so it's not in the cards. I'm going to go, luckily I have my degree. I'm going to move on and just play golf for fun.
No, for sure. You have to be realistic. So I honestly, like, as soon as I graduated, you have to kind of give yourself enough time. So I kind of told myself, I had a serious girlfriend at the time too, that was older than me, that was working, stable job and everything. I told her, I'm like, okay, give myself, now she's my wife. Tough. Yeah, now she's my wife.
Congratulations. You made it to the pros.
Yeah. But I kind of told her, I'm like, give me 4, like, I'm going to give myself 4 years. Like, I'm always realistic. You got to have, like, your results have to validate, like, your decisions and your goals. That's always been, like, I don't know why I think that, but that's always been a part of me. So, like, I was like, if I can't get at least better, say, where I'm, like, seeing myself get better and move forward in my professional golf career, if after 4 years I can't do it, then I'm like, okay, I gave it a try and I'll go do something else. I'm not going to be 35 years old playing in mini tour events and just trying and say I have kids and family and like putting that stress on my family. Like I love golf, but like I don't love golf that enough to do that to my family and like my personal life. It just that would suck. It just
you make 35 sound like it's really far away. What? How old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so, you're married, and you've got the career going. And
yeah, so that's. I was just trying to be realistic. I think just at times you just got to be realistic. So that's the one thing I was. But luckily, I made it to final stage of Q school that year. I got Corn Ferry status, and then I basically played a couple years on the Corn Ferry. Basically, just my entire career has just been slowly going up. I honestly would have been on the PGA Tour in 2020. The end of 2020, so the fall of 2020, I would have technically been on the PGA Tour, but COVID happened in March. So instead of everybody graduating to the PGA Tour that year, nobody graduated. So there's 2 seasons. So instead of like in a full season on the Corn Ferry, you have like, I don't know, 25 events, and the top 25 advance to the PGA Tour. I think I was 11th or 10th on the points list after 1 season. But then when you have 2 seasons, you have like 45 events, and it's like way more points. You have to play well for such a longer period. It's so much harder. So I remember like literally so 2021 starting up, like I was kind of struggling with my game. Like I wasn't playing very well, missing a handful of cuts. Like it was kind of a struggle. I dropped outside the top 25 actually. And then I ended up winning a Corn Ferry event, like the 3rd or 4th last Corn Ferry event before the playoffs, before you get your card. Actually, so that same year, I was struggling. I do U.S. Open qualifying sectionals, and I qualified for the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines. So that was kind of a turning point too. That was like in May when I was kind of struggling. went to the U.S. Open sectionals. But the problem is the U.S. Open is the same. There's a Corn Ferry event going on at the same time as the U.S. Open. So it's literally on the edge of the 25 number. And there's probably 8 events left in the season. And I decided to play in the U.S. Open instead of playing that Corn Ferry event that week.
All right. We'll pick up there. That's a good spot to stop and take a break. And then we'll come back for the U.S. Open. Dylan Wu after this. Okay, so Corn Ferry Tour, U.S. Open. It's an easy decision, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, looking at it now, I mean, it's probably the smarter decision was probably playing in the Corn Ferry event to try to get a PGA Tour card versus playing. But it's my first U.S. Open. I want to go play, so it's at Torrey Pines. I decided to play, and that was a really big kind of a pivotal moment in my career. Honestly, the one thing that was really weird is it was not my first PGA Tour event. I Monday qualified for once before to the Shriners Open in Vegas, so it was my first U.S. Open, second tour event.
Wow,
but the one thing
second tour event is
the one thing that was cool was like I'm playing practice rounds with a couple of buddies that I played college golf with. I'm playing practice with Colin Morikawa. I mean, unreal player. We were buddies in college. We're still buddies now.
Is that right?
Unreal.
He was in California.
He was in Cal. Yeah, we were a year apart, but a lot of my buddies went to. I went to visit. Cal was probably my backup choice.
Okay,
they were my second choice.
My neck of the woods.
Yeah, over there. I have a lot of friends that went to Berkeley. So playing practice rounds with Victor Hovland and Colin, and I'm playing with these guys. I'm like, I won't say I'm starstruck, but I'm just like, that week at the U.S. Open, I'm working out next to Rory. The only person that I was actually starstruck that week was Rory. I'm like, this guy's kind of sick. This guy's pretty sweet. But I was hitting balls that week, like in the practice rounds and even the tournament days, like hitting in between DJ, Phil, Bryson. And the one thing that was really weird that week is like the pressure. Like even if I play tee up sometimes on the first tee shot with I'm playing with buddies, like I feel like a little uncomfortable. But that week, the whole week, really, I never felt that much pressure. I have no clue why. I still don't understand what happened my first U.S. Open, but like I just really was so comfortable there. It was like super fun. It was super fun. I was just like,
had you played Torrey Pines before?
I played it before, but it's been like 7 years, like not even close to the U.S. Open. So like,
yeah,
I played solid. I played well. I finished 31st in my first U.S. Open. I think I made like $80,000 that week, but it was just a really cool experience to play in my first major and just. For some reason, I had like a lot of family and friends. A lot of my family lives on the West Coast, and
doubt never crept in.
Not really. I mean, it probably did at like maybe on Sunday and Saturday, but like near the cut line and stuff like that. Like I was first tee shot, I was just like, let's go play, and I was like, this is so weird. I'm like, I was just comfortable, and it's like sometimes you feel comfortable, and then you get to the first tee, you're like, why am I nervous here? That makes no sense. It's just nerves sometimes are just weird like that. But
yeah. So and you made the cut by how much?
I think I made the cut by like 3 or 4 shots. I think I was at the time I was like probably, so the second I was finished, I teed off late the first day and then not everybody finished. So I played the second day, like 24 holes, but the beginning of finishing my first round, the second day, and then starting off the second round, I think I saw myself, I was tee second after like 23 holes, which was cool. So that was really cool just to see my name on the leaderboard and stuff like that. I mean, it's really early in the tournament, but it was just still cool to see that. And then, that tournament gave me a lot of confidence. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I played in the U.S. Open, finished 31st. I'm on the Corn Ferry Tour, like not even.
You know, some people like I was on top of the leaderboard one day, on Thursday.
Thursday
once in my career, and it's like it's made a career for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's incredible.
No, it was great. And then the one thing was that gave me a lot of confidence. And actually, I decided to make a change with my caddy right after the U.S. Open. We were kind of struggling before that, but we qualified for U.S. Open, and I'm like, okay, we'll work through the U.S. Open. And then I wanted to. There's a week after the U.S. Open on the Corn Ferry, and then a week off. And I was like, I'm going to have my brother Jeremy, who was at the time working for EY in accounting and tax and accounting. I mean, loving his life, right?
But a golfer at heart.
Yeah, he was going to caddy for me in Maine in the Corn Ferry event the week after the U.S. Open. So I'm literally playing at Torrey in San Diego, and the next week I'm going to Maine, literally across the country.
Yep.
So Jeremy's caddying for me for the first time. I told him, I'm like, I kind of wanted. I felt like sometimes with a caddy, sometimes for me personally, I kind of was relying on him too much. So I really wanted just to like have somebody carry my bag and like have my brother just keep it chill. Like, I mean, get yardages and stuff and do a little bit of stuff, but like, just let me do my own thing, like kind of gain that confidence as a golfer and my decision making and everything like that. So he caddies for me in Maine. We just did well. I mean, I remember we made the cut on the number, or had the pot on the last hole. I think I hit it out of bounds on like the second to last hole, or third to last hole on a par 5. Then I ended up making a bogey, but then on the last hole I have to make par. And Jeremy tells me this story. I have like a 4-footer, maybe 4.5 footer or 4-footer. I think I had to 2-putt from like 20 feet, but I had a super severe downhill putt. And I had like a 4-footer to make the cut, and I make it. And Jeremy's thinking like, now where we've come now, he's like, dude, if you miss that putt, I don't know if I'm caddying for you now. Or like, I don't know if I mean, I'm probably still maybe making it to the PGA Tour, but he's probably not caddying for me because this was like his trial run. So we make the cut on the number after Friday. And then I shoot, I think 7 or 8 under on Saturday with him. And I ended up finishing, I didn't play as well as Sunday, but finished 15th. So 15th in his first event as a caddy. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, let's roll. I'm like, I'll have you. Let's caddy for a little bit. So like,
now I gotta pick into this one a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm just fascinated about the sibling thing. Are the two of you really competitive when you play against each other?
Yeah, I would say we're really competitive, but not to sound mean as a big brother, but my brothers, they're good.
That's your job as a big brother.
My brothers were good at golf, but they weren't as good as me at all. Like I wanted to play golf at an early age. I knew I wanted to play college golf. Like I just loved golf. They loved hockey more than golf, honestly. Like, but they were still good golfers, and that's why they play Division I golf, because it was a little easier to play Division I golf. I mean, hockey is almost as hard as golf. It's harder, honestly, the lifestyle of trying to make it to the NHL. Because I won't go into that, but it's really hard. But then Jeremy, he played golf in college at Valparaiso, but like he was a decent junior golfer. And like he won his state after I graduated, he won the state championship, shot 63 in the first round or second round, but he won the state championship. So like, and then people are associating him with me, and I'm playing pretty well at Northwestern, like a good college player, like ranked my freshman year, I'm like ranked 150, then top 80 my second year. So I'm a good college player. Like people know of me. And then Valpo is coming. He gets recruited and goes to Valparaiso, which is like an hour and a half south of Chicago, pretty close to me. And I think my brothers have a little performance anxiety, but he basically just played terrible. Like, they're probably expecting him to be like in the lineup every single time, like probably a top 3 player on the team. And this guy's not breaking 80. So like, I remember, and then, which is sometimes it just happens. But the one thing, he got a full ride scholarship and got a good degree and everything like that. I remember like when I was still in college, I went to watch him play. I think I just turned pro. This was because we're 2 years apart in school. It was like his junior year. I'm watching him play with individuals at Valparaiso, and they're playing with like, some like small D1 schools that like, as Northwestern, we're in the Big Ten. I'm playing with like we play a pretty good schedule. I play against like Alabama, Oklahoma State, Texas, whatever. But I'm playing with, like Valparaiso is playing individuals with like Drake, Western Illinois, like some schools I've never heard of. And it's not even like the starting lineup. It's the individuals. Like the guys who are like the 7-8 guys on their team. And I'm just watching, and when we're on this par 5, Jeremy, it's like kind of, I wouldn't say it's a narrow par 5, but hits driver, just pumps it like 70 yards out of bounds. Just the club drop 70 yards out of bounds. Then he re-tees with a 3-wood, 60 yards out of bounds left. Then then he hits 4-iron, then just chunks it, goes like 150 yards off the tee. I remember just watching this. I'm like, this is tough. But so then he ends up. So of course he's not going to play professional golf, but he really enjoyed his 4 years at Valparaiso. Worked in accounting and majored in accounting and finance, and then he started working for EY, Ernst & Young, in their tax division. So actually during COVID 2021, when I was playing on the Corn Ferry, he was able to work from home a little bit. So he came to actually a couple of events. Him and his twin came to a couple of events, and he was working in the office or working on his laptop at tournaments, like when we stayed together at an Airbnb. And the funny thing, there's a tournament in Nashville where my sister went to school at Lipscomb. So like my family's there. My sister's in school still. Jeremy's he's supposed to be working and stuff like that. But like, it's like one of the tournament days. And I just remember waking up and like, he's basically getting yelled at by his boss. And I'm like, I'm actually listening to this. I'm like, this doesn't sound very good. So like the funny thing is that literally not shortly after that, he tells my brother, his twin brother, my sister and me that he actually got fired from Ernst & Young, but doesn't tell my parents this at all.
Of course not.
Doesn't tell my parents at all. So my parents don't even know about it. And then like he had some time off, or he had a little bit of a break, and then I was like, then I told my parents I want to ask him to caddy for me, and they were like a little suspect at first because it's brother relationship and it's
sure,
stuff like that. But so he ends up caddying for me in Maine, and then
so it was your idea, or did you guys discuss? It was your idea, and you approached him, and when you approached him, he had been fired.
He'd already been technically
so
fired.
He's like, I need some work, and
he's like,
you better win because I was making decent money over there.
Because they've caddied for me before. So Jeremy actually caddied for me
okay.
Q school when I first turned pro, and then him and his brother have caddied for me in like 1 or 2 Corn Ferry events here or there. But I was like, all right, you're gonna caddy for me. Let's do it. So we finished 15th in Maine, and then we play a couple good weeks, another couple decent weeks, and then we're in Springfield, Missouri, middle of July, hot as hell. And so at the time, Jeremy's basically like, I basically just telling him to carry the bag, and I'm playing really well in Springfield, Missouri. It's a really low course. Scores are really low there, but on Saturday, I shoot 9 under, tied for the lead going in the last round. So we're tied for first, 20 under par. It's kind of a pure easy golf course. It's always your fairways, good weather, soft greens, pure greens. And then I remember like on the 15th or 16th hole. So I was playing really well. I was 5 under through 9 in the final round. Rain delay, thunder delay, worst thing that could happen. We're in the middle of Missouri, 2-hour thunder delay. We have a 5-shot lead, so I'm just sitting there. But then fast forward,
especially for a West Coast kid, thunders and lightning and all that stuff.
So I'm playing well, and then as soon as the rain delay comes, I'm still playing well. But then some guy coming out of the rain delay makes like 6 birdies in a row. So I'm like 6 under on the day, at 26 under, and I only have like a 2-shot lead right now. And I'm like, holy shit. So then I'm like on this whole 15, this par 3, and I remember like pacing the yardage, and Jeremy's just like standing there doing nothing, and I'm like, dude, you got to do something. You got to help me at least get the yardage. Like a high pressure situation. Like, you got to help me do something. You can't like let me just do everything. So that's the story I love telling people. Like, there's a Golf Digest article that came out about a month ago that did a profile on me and a little bit about Jeremy. I tell this story. I basically tell the story that Jeremy was useless. If you read it, it's like, he was useless in the beginning because I didn't really ask much of him. But now he's turned into a high level caddy, and we have really good chemistry now. But that's a funny story. I remember I'm like, dude, you got to help me do something. We're trying to win a tournament here. If I win this tournament, we got our tour card. Like, this is a big deal. And then I end up winning the tournament. So his 4th week on the job, win a Corn Ferry event. We get lock our PGA Tour card, and that's how he started caddying for me. And
how does his twin brother feel about the chance that he got that the twin got that he didn't? I mean, your other brother, is he a little bit resentful at all, or is he supportive?
No, of course he's super supportive. So my other brother misses out a little bit because he played golf at the Air Force Academy. So he played golf at the Air Force in Colorado. I mean, so you have 5 years of active duty after service. So he lives right now in Boston as an acquisitions officer for the Air Force. So he works in their business operations, and he's like a middleman between defense contracts and the government. So he enjoys it now. But just being in the Air Force, you kind of miss out a little bit. And like luckily he gets to come to a handful of tournaments. But honestly, to be honest, I told them both, like after Jeremy started caddying for a while. So it's Jeremy and Josh. Josh is the one that went to Air Force. I'm like, I'd rather have Jeremy caddy for me than Josh. Josh is like the Air Force one. Josh probably has the best swing in the family. Like, he stripes it, but I'd say his golf IQ is a little not the best. Like, when he hits a bad shot, he's like, oh, my rhythm was off. I'm like, no, your rhythm was not. That's not why this thing sliced 30 yards. It's because your face was freaking wide open. Like, you need to understand why you hit bad shots. So when Josh was on, like, and his game was on, like, he'd flush it and play really well. He was a good golfer at Air Force. Like, he was like the number 2 guy, like, not good enough to play professional golf, but like, he was a good player, like a good player that traveled every week. But the problem with Josh caddy for one time in Colorado, because he went to school in Colorado. So I was like, you can caddy in the Corn Ferry in Colorado. And I was like, he's just so optimistic, where it's like having a good outlook on life, but it's not the right moment. He's like, when I'm hitting bad shots and not playing well, and I'm getting mad. He's like, dude, it's fine. We're playing golf. Like, this is amazing. This is like, you're playing golf for a living. Well, I'm like, I don't need this right now. We need to be realistic. Like, Jeremy will be realistic with me. He's like, yeah, we're sucking right now. We need to get this together, you know? So that's why I was like, Josh, this is not going to work out. So, I mean, I definitely picked the right brother to caddy for me, but he misses out a little bit, but he's able to to watch a handful of tournaments. So he came to the Players Championship this past year. He comes to like 5 or 6 tournaments. So he misses out, but no, all of us. For me, I love to have my family out there. It's really cool.
That's great.
My dad and my brother out there. It's
Yeah.
really cool. The brother partnerships on tour. It's me, my brother Harry Higgs, and his brother Al. And then before it was DJ and his brother Austin. So I mean, like the brother combos are actually pretty good. So hopefully that's something for the future. But that's the fun thing how we got started, my brother and I.
Awesome. All right, we're going to take one last break, and then I want to talk to you about your team now that you're on the pro circuit and how you're doing there. So we'll do that after this. This week on Golf Smarter Mulligans is an insightful conversation with Martin Chuck, a high-profile golf instructor and incredibly successful creator of training aids who just loves to teach golf from rank beginners to the highest levels of the professional game. In this episode called The Ultimate Golf Nerd, among other topics, Martin talks about how increasing your distance is more than just increasing your swing speed.
The average LPGA Tour player swings at about 88 miles an hour. There's a lot of you out there that can swing at 100 miles an hour or 102 miles an hour, or some of you that can swing at 110 miles an hour, and that's really fast. But the average LPGA Tour player, if I put them on the tee with average club golfer guy who swings at the same speed, LPGA Tour player is going to hit it way farther than you. But wait, why? If you're both swinging 88 miles an hour, you have to have the right launch conditions to maximize on that strike. And club golfer out there doesn't. The average LPGA Tour player does, because they've got the club face path relationship that gives them optimized distance for that face and path. Club golfer has some kind of a wiping, glancing blow that takes away the compression.
Originally published in May of 2012 as Golf Smarter episode number 333. It's episode 240 of Golf Smarter Mulligans with Martin Chuck, instructor and inventor. So if Golf Smarter is one of your favorite podcasts, then don't miss the chance to have the experts give you free lessons on how to improve your game twice each week with Golf Smarter and Golf Smarter Mulligans. They're both available for free from wherever you're listening right now. How many PGA Tour events have you now played in?
Yeah, so I just finished my second season on tour. I think I've played 60 tour events now.
And how many cuts have you made?
I think 33 or 34.
Wow, so better than half. That's great. And you're earning a living, thank goodness.
Yep. Yeah.
As is your brother.
Yeah, exactly. My parents are happy. Keeping the money in the family, right?
There you go. And I'm curious, what does that, now that you're doing this, you're all invested in and you're making money at it, you have to build a team. You were saying before you're all on your own, but now you have the ability to create a team for yourself. And you mentioned sports psychologist. What is your team consist of?
Yeah.
Outside the family?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, of course, I have my wife first, and outside the family, like my brother. But you have a caddy, of course, my caddy, who's family. But I have a trainer that I work with all the time. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. I probably see him when I'm home basically every day. I think most people have a trainer. I have a sports psychologist. I have my swing coach and instructor, Pat, my Northwestern coach. So the one thing with him is like he does everything for me. So we do swing, little wedge game, putting, driving, literally everything. Versus like a lot of players have a coach for each different thing. Like somebody does swing work, then they have a putting coach and everything like that. But luckily Pat does everything for me, which I think is perfect. And then, so I have kind of basically my trainer, my sports psychologist to help work on my mental game, trainer helping me focus on my fitness just because I'm traveling all year round. Golf's like a lot of golf specific workouts are very different than normal workouts. There's so much rotation and like mobility in golf. So you gotta you're training a lot of different muscles and you're doing a lot of golf specific workouts. Like if I had to tell people, like if I had to spend 30 minutes before playing a round of golf just for fun on the range with no warm up no warm up physically at all, or spend 30 minutes in the workout trailer or working out beforehand, I'd rather it's 50-50 for me. That's how important it is, like say foam rolling and just warming up and doing my stretches and and activation stuff is. I feel so good when I come out of it and I go to the range and about to warm up, like I'm ready to go, versus like, it's cold outside. You just show up to the range for the first time. You're stiff and stuff like that. So like, that's about 50-50. It's like nowadays, I can't really imagine going to the first tee without doing something, at least warming up stretches wise. Like I travel with bands and stuff like that. Just doing anything to activate my glutes, my hips and all that stuff. So that stuff, just becomes second nature now. And it's,
wow.
Having my team is so important. Like the success you have means nothing without the team you have. And I think that's the one thing that, I've always been a firm believer in, is like, of course my trajectory of my career has been going up and up, but it's the people that have been with me for when I was nothing, when I was, like when I met at $0 in my professional career, or people that were supporting me when I was a kid, back in Oregon, like family and stuff like that. But yeah, there's so many things that go into professional golf. That's not just the golf. Sometimes the golf is the easy part. Like the fitness and nutrition, like luckily with my trainer, like it's such a great thing to have a trainer. And one of my other sponsors, MyFitnessPal, like they're like one of the best like diet and tracking app to really figure out what's going into your body and making sure you're properly eating the right food to help you succeed, or help me succeed on the golf course. So like having that combination of like doing stuff to take care of my body and my health, it's just so important, because like for golf, you can play for a long time. Like I hope to play for 20, 30 years on the PGA Tour, but like I'm 27. Like Will Zalatoris, there's a couple PGA Tour players that are playing this week, like Tiger, but there's so many injuries they have. Like if I can go my entire career without any injuries, eat healthy. I love food. Trust me, I don't eat health like super clean. If I was super clean, I'd probably be the fittest person in the world. But when I'm on the road and competing and playing, like I try to take care of my body, eat clean, eat well. On the golf course, like if I had to tell people, like amateurs, like what's some things you should do, like you should snack every like 5 or 6 holes. You should eat some food. Of course, everybody's going to drink some alcohol or drink beer with their friends when they're playing, but like honestly, fueling during a round, it helps you sustain that energy. That's why like some people, like when I play with people, they get pretty tired. Like when you get to the 14th hole, like we're just waiting till we're done. It's like maybe you should have some nuts or a snack. So like there's so much different things that go into it. That's why like one of my sponsors, MyFitnessPal, comes in. They like, for me as a
I was going to ask you about that. What is MyFitnessPal? Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me how that helps keep your nutrition and keeps you alert during a round. Is that what that's for?
Yeah, I don't use it. I don't use it during the round because I have to use my phone. But like when I'm off the course training, like just log. It's an app that you can log and easily log in all your foods. You can track your macros, track what you're putting in your body, count your calories, and you can include your exercises, anything fitness, basically anything fitness, food, and health related, all in one app. It makes it easy. You can go to the grocery store, and when I'm traveling and go to grocery stores every week, go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or Safeway, whatever. You can easily just scan the app and like it'll tell you if it's good or not, and it can easily input it into the app. So it's really easy for me. It's really, when I'm traveling and playing and walking all the time, like it's easy to lose weight on the road. So you just got to make sure you're eating a lot of protein. So like some of the snacks I eat on the road, like in the middle of the round, I eat nuts, like really healthy bars, beef jerky, almond butter. Love Justin's almond butter. Sometimes like it's hot and sweaty, and like you don't want to like touch something with your hands because you want it to get sticky and everything.
Sticky, right?
Basically, it's like, and then sometimes I even eat like cyclists have like those jellies, those gels that like just get them to the end of the race. Like I'll eat that sometimes. I remember like in Springfield, Missouri, when I won, like the last 5 holes, my wife was watching and gave me it. I'm like, all right, it doesn't taste good at all, but like let's give myself some energy. But that combined, like making sure I know what's going in my body, plus training my body with my trainer and taking care of it when I'm playing and traveling, basically 40 weeks of the 52 weeks in a year, is just very important to not only success now, but also success long-term, and making sure I can do this.
Does your trainer also act as a nutritionist for you?
Kind of, kind of a little bit. But it's more me just doing the research. There's a lot of stuff I can just look on MyFitnessPal, and just there's a lot of research and nutrition. And I can talk to somebody who work
wow.
at MyFitnessPal easily.
Awesome.
My trainer, I wouldn't say
It's an app, huh?
it's an app. Yeah, it's like the number one diet tracking app in the country, and people joke with me.
Good sponsor to have.
The logo kind of looks like the Jordan logo. So people are like, it's like a ballerina, but people think, oh, is that the Jordan logo from far away? I'm like, no, not the Jumpman logo, but no, they're great. So I think just any sport. I mean, any if you're doing any activity, like health and nutrition is just so important. Like it just helps you. Then I know if I play bad, it's not because of anything I'm doing fitness wise or health wise that's preventing me from performing my best. And I think that's the thing.
Who's your sports psychologist?
My sports psychologist is a guy named Fran Pirazzolo. He lives in Houston, Texas. He worked for the New York Yankees when they won 2 pennants. And then he works with the Texans, worked a little bit with the Astros, but he works with Bernhard Longer on the Champions Tour. But he's been a great. I met him when I was at Northwestern. Northwestern was smart enough to hire a sports psychologist to come meet the players and help work on it, because it's so important. Like the cliches of like people saying like stay in the moment, like one shot at a time, focus on the process. Like all athletes, whether you're like Steph Curry, you're Tiger, you're any NFL player, like the zone is a real thing. Like we're just
we talk about that a lot on this show. I would love to get Frank on the show.
Yeah.
So an introduction would be awesome. We have to cut this off pretty soon. I know that you have to go. So let me ask you one quick question. Let's just say you're teeing off at 11:30. What is your schedule up to that point?
Okay. So if I'm 11:30, say it's a practice round. That's easy. So I'm practice round. I'll probably wake up whatever what time, but I'm gonna get to the golf course probably like 8:30. I'll spend probably eat 15 minutes breakfast, like a breakfast. When I'm at a tournament, it's pretty healthy, like scrambled eggs, some protein, maybe some bacon, veggies and some fruit. Usually like an omelet, but it's really simple, and maybe like a really healthy smoothie. Luckily, the tour we have usually good food when they're on the road. But then get there done at 8:30. I'll go in the trailer, probably the workout trailer for 30 minutes. So like 8:45 to 9:15. Then if something's like, say I've been playing a lot of weeks in a row, say I want to stop by the PT trailer and like make sure my body's taken care of, like anything like kinks in my neck or if anything's bothering me, maybe spend 15, 20 minutes in there. And then getting to I'll start on the putting green, probably like 9:45. So like there's almost like an hour to hour and a half of me doing stuff before I actually get to the practice area. Mm-hmm. And then I'm doing a bunch of different stuff. I'm like, am I doing drills? I'm doing putting drills, like speed drills. Like my number one advice, there's a couple of advice. I play in pro-ams every week with amateurs. I play with a lot of buddies and members and normal people. Like the biggest thing is like people definitely don't spend enough time putting and spending time on lag putting. Like when you think about golf, like you shoot even par, right? 72. Like half your shots, a lot of time. You hit every fairway and every green, and then you 2-putt every single time. Half your shots is putting. Like you're going to putt more than every other shot. So the one advice I tell people too is like lag putting, but also when you're on the range, and usually guys and girls are playing the same. Men and women are playing the same course. Their home club every single week, like once or twice a week, right? It's like if you're on the range, how about you hit the clubs you're actually going to hit on the golf course? Like everybody loves hitting like a 5-iron or whatever like that. But like you're gonna hit your driver the most of the time, and you're gonna hit a lot of wedges. You're gonna chip and like just like basically like prepare like how you're gonna play on the course. That's how you're gonna shoot lower scores. I mean, it sounds pretty simple, but it's like, I mean, I love hitting like. I'll beat balls and hit like a 6-iron, 5-iron just to make myself feel good. But I'm like, am I even going to hit this on the golf course? Like, I'm not going to hit it on the golf course. What am I doing? Like, it's cool. I have a shot, but I'm not going to use it. What's the point? Versus like, I'm going to hit 12, 13 drivers today. I'm going to be chipping and hit some bunker shots. So like, just like practice how you play, and it just makes it simple. So then you don't even need to spend that much time. But there's a lot that goes into it. Like I don't show up anymore, even at home, and I'm practicing and having a round with buddies. Like it's rare. Like if I tee time at 11:30, that I roll up at 11:25 doing nothing. If I do roll up at 11:25, I'm probably working out with my trainer, and I'm feeling pretty loose, and I'm ready to go. Yeah. Right. So it's
all right. Yeah. Well, listen, we do have to go. I'm sorry that we have to cut this short, but it's your schedule, and I really, really appreciate you spending the time with us. I learned a ton, and the whole Golf Smarter community is going to be rooting for you now. So you got more family on your side of the game. So thanks so much for being here.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
I don't know. What is it about golf that becomes an obsession? Is it because the game is so hard and can never be mastered? Is knowing that we can be better than we were in our latest round the driving force for improvement? I think it was Joe Hallett who recently said on the show that golf's a simple game that's really hard to play. Regularly in this segment after the interview, I report to you on how my game is going and the successes and failures I've lived through over the previous week. Luckily, I live in a climate that allows me to play 12 months a year, and there's no question this privilege is something I do not take for granted. At the end of the 2022 season, though, my index was down to just under 6. And I wasn't just playing the best golf of my life, but was playing with the highest level of confidence I'd ever experienced. But as I close 2023, I feel like I played a lot less than the year before, even though with just a few weeks to go, I've only played a couple of rounds less than 2022, and my index is now back around a 10. Am I whining? Yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be, but when you have that much of a difference, it gets in your head. Now, all this is despite the fact that my average 18-hole score is just 1.1 strokes higher than the previous year, but my index went up 5 points. So why then am I so full of doubt and frustration? I really think it's my putting that still has me whining. Well, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be visited once again by Sam Hahn, CEO of Lab Golf. If you've followed the PGA Tour in 2023, you've heard great stories around players like Adam Scott and Lucas Glover who transformed their games by using a Lab Golf putter. It was just reported that Will Zalatoris is now returning to the tour after rehab from surgery and now also carries a Lab Golf putter in his bag. Now, the interview with Sam was conducted last week, but because we get an exclusive from Sam about a new product that's about to hit the market, I'm required to keep the show under wraps for a couple more weeks until that product is available to everybody. So please stay tuned for that. In the meantime, during this holiday buying time of year, I'm going to focus on some products that I believe can help make a difference. I want to welcome our newest Golf Smarter ambassador, John Dovson of Wauke, Iowa. I hope I'm pronouncing Wauke, Iowa. Well, I know I got Iowa right. I've never heard of Wauke. Anyway, because all he did was record this week's show opening, John is receiving a free link to Tony Manzoni's video of the Lost Fundamental. I invite you to become a Golf Smarter ambassador with the incentive of getting a choice of 3 great gifts for your efforts of telling us where you're from and where you play. Choices include Tony Manzoni's video, a glove and glove storage compartment from redroostergolf.com, or a box of Odin X1 balls that sport the Golf Smarter logo. Just write directly to me and I'll send you simple instructions on how to record an episode opening that takes 1 minute of your time. Actually, it'll probably take less than 1 minute of your time. And you get a gift. So check out today's show notes to find links for each gift that you have to choose from. And to see and hear the most compelling short reminders of our podcast interviews for both Golf Smarter and Golf Smarter Mulligans, please follow us on social at Golf Smarter on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and X, formerly known as Twitter, for our ongoing posts of videos and articles that are published 5 times each week. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions for upcoming episodes, or want to join our list of Golf Smarter ambassadors who've received that free gift, write to golfsmarterpodcast@gmail.com or click on the Hey Fred button when you visit golfsmarter.com.